Good day everyone, my name is Shi Ying and this presentation is for the course APW375 Logistics Management. The title of my study is Addressing Literature Gaps in Low Carbon Logistics Strategies, a literature review and framework proposal. This study focuses on how logistic activities contribute to carbon emissions and how existing low-carbon logistic strategies have been discussed in previous studies. However, many frameworks are examined separately, which creates gaps in practical application. Therefore, this presentation reviews several existing frameworks, discuss their strengths and limitations, and propose an integrated framework to support sustainable and environmentally responsible logistics management. The logistics industry is a major contributor to carbon emissions due to energy-intensive transportation and warehousing activities. Although scholarly interest in low-carbon logistics had increased, many studies focus on individual practices in isolation. This limits understanding of how integrated approaches support carbon emission reduction and logistic performance. Therefore, this study reviews existing literature and proposes an integrated conceptual framework. The framework links low-carbon logistic strategies to performance outcomes, with eco-innovation capabilities playing a mediating role. This approach provides structured guidance for organizations aiming to achieve sustainable logistic outcomes. Environmental logistic management has become increasingly important as organizations seek to reduce the environmental impact of logistic operations. Transportation, warehousing, and distribution consume large amounts of energy and contribute significantly to carbon emissions. While concepts such as green logistics, sustainable logistics, and low-carbon logistics are well discussed, existing research remains fragmented. Many studies focus on specific practices without providing a holistic framework. In addition, practical challenges such as traffic congestion, energy-intensive warehouses, and coordination issues are often overlooked. This highlights the need for an integrated literature-based framework to guide effective low-carbon logistic implementation. The literature review covers 4 key areas. First, low-carbon logistics emphasizes reducing emissions through transportation efficiency, warehousing optimization, and technology adoption. Second, environmental logistic management focuses on minimizing environmental impacts across the supply chain. Third, sustainable logistics integrates environmental, social, and economic objectives. Finally, carbon emission reduction is a global priority in addressing climate change. Although various frameworks exist, many focus either on policy, technology, or operational aspects separately. This lack of integration limits their practical usefulness, which motivates the development of a more comprehensive framework. Framework 1 proposes a 2-level decision-making structure involving cold chain authorities and logistic firms. Regulatory bodies design carbon quotas and subsidies, while firms make decisions on emission reduction and infrastructure investment. One major strength of this framework is its strong integration of policy-level and firm-level decisions, which closely reflects real-world environmental logistic management. By incorporating subsidies and carbon quotas, it provides clear economic incentives for carbon emission reduction. However, the framework assumes access to reliable data and rational decision-making. It also focuses mainly on cost and emissions, while factors such as service quality, customer satisfaction, and organizational capability receive limited attention. This reduces its applicability in complex sustainable logistic environments. Framework 2 integrates photovoltaic system, energy storage, charging infrastructure, and digital logistics system using deep reinforcement learning. It connects long-term infrastructure planning with short-term operational optimization. The main advantage of this framework is its strong technological integration, which directly supports carbon emission reduction and energy efficiency in low-carbon logistics. The adaptive nature of digital decision-making enhance sustainable logistic performance under dynamic conditions. However, this framework requires advanced digital infrastructure, large dataset, and high computational capability. These requirements may limit its adoption, especially among smaller logistics firms or regions with limited infrastructure readiness. Framework 3 examines how the development of the digital economy improves low-carbon logistic efficiency through regional and cross-border spillover effects. It highlights mechanisms such as technology diffusion and innovation transfer. Its key strength lies in capturing macro-level interactions that are often ignored in low-carbon logistics studies. The framework provides valuable insights for policymakers aiming to promote sustainable logistics at a regional level. Nevertheless, the framework mainly operates at a macro scale and pays limited attention to firm-level logistic operations. It also assumes positive spillover effects, which may vary depending on infrastructure quality and regulatory conditions. Framework 4 presents a two-level model where government authorities plan cold chain infrastructure under carbon trading regulations, while logistic users select distribution centers. A major strength of this approach is its clear distinction between public environmental objectives and private logistic decisions. By incorporating carbon trading, it supports sustainable logistics infrastructure planning. However, the bi-level optimization process is computationally complex and may rely on simplifying assumptions. The framework may also overlook dynamic behavioral changes and real-time operational disruptions. Framework 5 proposed that low-carbon supply chain practices influence performance both directly and indirectly through eco-innovation capability. Eco-innovation enables firms to transform environmental initiatives into performance improvements. Its strength lies in clearly highlighting eco-innovation as a critical mechanism linking environmental logistic management and performance outcomes. This perspective strongly supports sustainable logistic research. However, the framework focuses primarily on manufacturing firm performance and does not fully capture logistic-specific challenges such as transportation efficiency and warehousing energy use. In conclusion, the review of these 5 frameworks reveals that while each contributes valuable insights into low-carbon logistics and carbon emission reduction, none fully integrates policy, technology, innovation, and operational context. This justifies the need for an integrated conceptual framework to advance sustainable logistic performance. Based on these gaps, this study proposed an integrated conceptual framework. Low-carbon logistic strategies act as the independent variables, including transportation practices, warehousing efficiency, digital system, and regulatory alignment. Eco-innovation capability mediates the relationship between these strategies and performance outcomes by transforming environmental initiatives into practical innovations. Environmental uncertainty and infrastructure readiness moderate this relationship by influencing how effectively innovation leads to performance improvements. The dependent variable low-carbon logistic performance includes carbon reduction, cost efficiency, service reliability, and customer satisfaction. In conclusion, this study contributes to low-carbon logistic research by proposing an integrated conceptual framework that links logistic strategies, eco-innovation capability, and performance outcomes. The findings highlight that adopting low-carbon practices alone is insufficient. Organizations must also develop innovation capability and ensure infrastructure readiness, particularly under uncertain environments. The framework provides useful guidance for managers and policymakers seeking to balance sustainability and operational efficiency. Future research may empirically test this framework in contexts such as cold chain or e-commerce logistics to further validate its applicability. That's all from me. Thank you.